Theodore Roosevelt once said, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena." This is a powerful sentiment that was not just a quote for Roosevelt, but a mantra that guided his life. Born into a wealthy family in New York City, Roosevelt was a frail child suffering from severe asthma. But it was his father, Theodore Roosevelt Sr., who instilled in him the belief that he could overcome his physical limitations through sheer willpower and hard work. His father, a philanthropist and businessman, was Roosevelt's hero and a significant influence on his life. He urged young Theodore to build both his mind and body, telling him, "You have the mind, but not the body, and without the help of the body, the mind cannot go as far as it should." This message resonated with Roosevelt and laid the foundation for his philosophy of the strenuous life, a life filled with effort, struggle, and perseverance. Despite his health struggles, Roosevelt embraced this philosophy and transformed himself from a sickly child into a robust adult. He took up boxing, hiking, rowing, and horseback riding, pushing his body to its limits. His determination to overcome his physical ailments was a testament to his belief in being the man in the arena, the one who dares to strive, to err, to sweat, and to expend himself in a worthy cause. Roosevelt once declared, "I wish to preach, not the doctrine of ignoble ease, but the doctrine of the strenuous life." This phrase encapsulates the essence of his philosophy, a philosophy that Roosevelt himself lived out in every facet of his life. In the rough and tumble world of the late 19th century, Roosevelt championed the idea of the strenuous life. He believed in pushing oneself to the brink, in challenging the limits of one's capabilities, and in the deeply satisfying reward of achieving greatness through sheer grit and determination. It was not mere physical strength that Roosevelt admired, but strength of character, strength of conviction, and the strength to lead a life of purpose. Roosevelt's time as a rancher in the Dakota Territory epitomized this philosophy. He didn't just talk about the strenuous life, he lived it. After the tragic deaths of his wife and mother on the same day, Roosevelt sought solace in the rugged wilderness of the Dakotas. Here, in the vast open plains, Roosevelt tested his mettle against the harsh elements of nature. He braved blizzards, rounded up cattle, and hunted game. He immersed himself in the strenuous life, embracing the physical hardship and mental challenges it presented. This period in Roosevelt's life was transformative. It hardened him, shaped him, and prepared him for the trials he would face in his political career. It was here, in the Dakota Territory, that Roosevelt truly understood the meaning of his own words. He experienced firsthand the reward of hard work, the value of perseverance, and the importance of resilience. Roosevelt's philosophy of the strenuous life was a reflection of his broader belief in the potential of the human spirit. He believed that individuals could shape their own destinies, that they could rise above their circumstances and achieve greatness through their own efforts. To Roosevelt, the strenuous life was not just a way of living, it was a way of being. For Roosevelt, a life of ease was a life unfulfilled. In his 1901 speech, Roosevelt stated, "Every man holds his property subject to the general right of the community to regulate its use to whatever degree the public welfare may require it." These words would come to define one of the most progressive policies of his presidency, the Square Deal. The Square Deal was Roosevelt's domestic program, an embodiment of his belief in fairness and equality. At its core, this policy was a promise that the rights of the common man would not be trampled by the powerful. It was a commitment to ensure that every American, regardless of their social or economic status, would receive a fair shake. Roosevelt was deeply aware of the growing disparities between the wealthy and the poor, the powerful and the powerless. He saw the unchecked power of large corporations, often termed monopolies, as a severe threat to the economic balance of society. His solution: break them up. Under his administration, Roosevelt filed suits against 45 corporations under the Sherman Antitrust Act, a law that prohibited business activities that federal government regulators deemed to be anti-competitive. This was a radical move at the time, but Roosevelt was not deterred. He was determined to use the power of the presidency to regulate business for the public good. But the Square Deal was not just about breaking up monopolies. It was a comprehensive policy that also focused on consumer protection and conservation of natural resources. Roosevelt championed laws that regulated food and drug industries, and he advocated for the preservation of the nation's natural beauty for future generations. Roosevelt's vision was one of a nation where the playing field was level, where the rules were fair, and where every citizen had an equal opportunity to succeed. He saw the need for the government to intervene, to step in where the free market failed, and to ensure fairness and equality for all its citizens. Roosevelt saw the need for the government to ensure fairness and equality for all its citizens. His Square Deal was a bold step towards that vision, a testament to his belief in the power of the people and the responsibility of the government. It remains a cornerstone of his enduring legacy. In his own words, Roosevelt stated, "Far better it is to dare mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to take rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy much nor suffer much." Roosevelt's philosophy of life was not one of idle comfort or complacency. He believed in the power of daring, in the courage to take on challenges, and in the pursuit of greatness, even if that pursuit led to failure. He saw failure not as a dead end, but as a stepping stone to success. He believed in the exhilarating joy of risk-taking, in the invigorating thrill of stepping into the unknown. This adventurous spirit was not just a philosophical belief, but a defining aspect of his personal life. Theodore Roosevelt was not a man to sit idly by. He was a man of action, a man who embraced the thrill of the new and the unknown. He was a man who sought out challenges, who dared to dream big, and who was not afraid to put his dreams into action. One of the most vivid examples of this adventurous spirit was his exploration of the Amazon rainforest. This was not a journey for the faint of heart. It was a journey that demanded courage, resilience, and a willingness to face the unknown. Yet Roosevelt embraced this challenge with open arms. He plunged into the heart of the Amazon, braving its dangers and reveling in its mysteries. He was driven by a thirst for knowledge, by a desire to push the boundaries of the known world, and by a deep-seated belief in the value of exploration and discovery. This adventurous spirit was not only a defining aspect of Roosevelt's personal life, but also a cornerstone of his political philosophy. He believed that nations, like individuals, should dare to be great, should take risks, and should strive for glory. Roosevelt believed in living life as a grand adventure, full of risks and rewards. He encouraged others to embrace this philosophy, to dare to dream big, to face challenges head-on, and to savor the thrill of the unknown. For Roosevelt, life was not just a journey, but a great adventure. Roosevelt believed, in the long run, in the great battle of life, no brilliancy of intellect, no perfection of bodily development will count when weighed in the balance against that assemblage of virtues, active and passive, of moral qualities, which we group together under the name of character. Theodore Roosevelt, a man of action and words, held a firm belief that character reigned supreme over intellect or physical prowess. He understood that it was the moral fiber of an individual that defined their true worth, not their intellectual aptitude or physical capabilities. This belief was central to his approach to leadership and his vision for the American people. Roosevelt's emphasis on character was not just confined to the individual, but extended to the collective character of the nation. He saw the strength of a nation not in its military might or wealth, but in the character of its citizens. He believed that a nation's greatness was measured by the morals, the integrity, and the spirit of its people, and it was this belief that guided his advocacy for universal suffrage and civil rights. Roosevelt was a passionate advocate for giving voice to the voiceless, for ensuring that every citizen, regardless of their race, gender, or social status, had the right to participate in the democratic process. He believed that it was through this collective participation that the character of a nation was truly revealed and its power truly realized. Roosevelt's belief in the power of the people was not an abstract concept, but a driving force that shaped his policies and his presidency. He saw democracy not as a system of governance, but as a way of life, a way of treating each other with respect and dignity, a way of cultivating the character of the nation. Roosevelt's vision of a nation defined by its character, by its virtues and by the active participation of its citizens is as relevant today as it was during his time. It is a reminder of the power that lies within each of us, the power to shape our own destiny and the destiny of our nation. Roosevelt understood that the true power of a nation lies in the character of its people. Roosevelt declared, "The conservation of natural resources is the fundamental problem. Unless we solve that problem, it will avail us little to solve all others." Indeed, this sentiment was not one that Teddy Roosevelt took lightly. His commitment to preserving the natural world was not merely an avocation. It was a crusade, born out of respect and reverence for the wild places that had so profoundly shaped him. Roosevelt's passion for the outdoors was ignited in his youth during his encounters with the untamed beauty of the American wilderness. As he grew older, this passion evolved into a profound sense of duty. He recognized that the breathtaking landscapes he loved were not inexhaustible, and if left unprotected, they could vanish forever. This understanding compelled Roosevelt to take action. As president, he made conservation a top priority, using his executive power to protect over 200 million acres of public land. He established the United States Forest Service and signed into law the creation of 5 national parks, 18 national monuments, and 51 federal bird reservations. These unprecedented conservation efforts earned him the moniker of the conservationist president. Yet for Roosevelt, his actions were not about accolades or recognition. They were about safeguarding the wild spaces that he believed were central to the American identity and spirit. He saw the wilderness not just as a resource to be exploited, but as a sanctuary to be cherished. Roosevelt's conservation legacy cannot be overstated. His commitment to preserving nature has left an indelible mark on the United States, shaping its public lands policy and inspiring countless individuals to appreciate and protect the natural world. And while many of his conservation endeavors were met with opposition in his time, they are today celebrated as visionary. Roosevelt saw the preservation of nature as a duty, not just for the present, but for future generations. His actions remind us that we are not merely inhabitants of this earth, but stewards, entrusted with the care of our natural world for generations yet unborn. His words and deeds continue to echo, urging us to respect and protect the wild spaces that enrich our lives and define our nation. Theodore Roosevelt left us with a legacy of action, adventure, fairness, character, and conservation. Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States, was a man of many hats, and his influence reaches far beyond his time in office. His words, actions, and philosophies continue to echo in the halls of American history, shaping our national character and informing our global actions. Roosevelt, the man in the arena, championed the idea that the credit belongs to the person who, win or lose, has the courage to step into the fray. His philosophy of the strenuous life advocated the virtues of hard work, perseverance, and moral character. He believed that the easy life was not worth living, and that only through struggle and effort can one achieve true greatness. In his square deal policy, Roosevelt demonstrated his commitment to fairness and equality. He believed that every citizen, regardless of their social status, deserved an equal opportunity. This belief is still embedded in the American ethos today, guiding our quest for social justice and equality. Roosevelt's love for adventure, which he referred to as the Great Adventure, was not just about physical exploration, but also about intellectual curiosity and the pursuit of knowledge. He encouraged us to embrace the unknown, to venture into new territories, and to continuously learn and grow. This spirit of adventure is inherent in our culture of innovation and progress. The power of the people, Roosevelt believed, was the cornerstone of our democracy. He advocated for the rights of the common man, recognizing that the strength of a nation lies in its people. Today, his call for active citizenship continues to inspire us to participate in our democracy, to make our voices heard, and to work towards a better society. Roosevelt's role as a conservationist cannot be overstated. He understood the intrinsic value of nature and worked tirelessly to protect it for future generations. His establishment of national parks and wildlife refuges laid the foundation for our country's conservation efforts and continues to guide our environmental policies. In essence, Theodore Roosevelt was a man of action. He believed in the power of the individual to make a difference, in the importance of moral character, in the pursuit of fairness, and in the need for conservation. His philosophy and actions set a standard that continues to inspire us, shaping our national identity and informing our actions on the global stage. In the words of Roosevelt, do what you can, with what you have, where you are. And with that, he continues to inspire us all to strive for greatness, no matter the odds.